This is the kind of guy that can turn this franchise around. He's the #1 player in high school, #1 player in college, #1 player in the draft. He's been in the spotlight his entire life. You heard the way Steve Clifford was talking at the end of the season. He knew the lineups that they were putting out onto the floor really had no chance of winning. But he did leave because his contract ended. It's not like he's forced his way out of here. This isn't a Dwight Howard situation. So I do think the boos would be uncalled for. I mean, this is a guy that won a USL title. Meanwhile, in baseball, strikeout rates are up. No hitters are being thrown left and right. Jacob deGrom's ERA is 0.56. 0.56. I asked Pareja about it after the game. Luke, no surprise, didn't take the bait. He chose to focus on the players that stepped up in Nani's absence tonight, and there were a lot of them, Sylvester Vanderwater in particular. So Bryson literally hitting the ball to another course. This is where he lands off the tee. I got a front row seat for this thing. Take a look. Any weird questions from the NFL teams?
Give 2 reasons why you cook raw meat.
What do they want you to say? I'm a real man. I eat it raw. I used to play in high school. Wasn't that good. Gonna see if maybe things have aged better with times. Ready, set, go. Oh, it's picked. Now, I know you got NBA goals, but the last time we talked about your acting passion. So when are we going to see Shondy Brown coming to a theater near you? Hawks making this a playoff or bust season. They tried to build a team around Trae Young. Well, you know he can do this. Infinite range. It's 108-105. Orlando had a 16-point halftime lead. Set a season-high 39 points in the first quarter, but no one could stop the run. Tony Snell.
Do what we do, all right? This is the last, I don't know what you want to call it, pre-game run for the playoffs, all right? It all starts on Tuesday.
The writing's on the walls of the MOUNTDORA Christian locker room, and so are the pictures.
One team, one goal, one God, selfless trust. Hey, stack it up, let's go.
3, 2, 1. One team, one goal, one God as teams.
It's senior night for Stephen Hayes' Bulldogs. His team is 24-0 and looking to complete a perfect regular season.
It's honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, been like a movie with like everything, like all the stories and like the background of like the history of like us and the connection of the coaches.
Our next senior is Mr. Jack WEBSTER, escorted by his mother Beth and Brian Hurley, his father Dave, Rhonda WEBSTER, and his brother Trig.
8 seniors are set to be honored. Everyone's here except one, Nathan Hayes, the coach's son.
Our next senior can't join us tonight, but I would like to read a poem in his honor. In our hearts, we thought of you today, but that is nothing new. We thought about you yesterday and the days before that too. We think of you in silence. We often speak your name. Now all we have are memories and your picture in a frame.
I've dreaded this day in a lot of ways, just because I knew how emotional it would be. You know, me and my son always talked about how we couldn't wait for me to coach him one day, and this was his time.
Nathan loved basketball. His favorite team was the Celtics, which is why this normally blue team is wearing green.
Let's go, Jack. Big Celtics fan, and I mean, if they played at 10 o'clock at night, he'd beg to stay up and watch them and cheer them on. Jumbo! Hard now, now! Jumbo! Jumbo!
Nathan loved to cheer. He also loved to help his dad coach.
Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! He was my manager when he was 8, 9, and 10 years old, and he lived and died by how we played that night. I mean, he cheered on us. If we lost, he cried. We won, he celebrated.
Together in life, together in Nathan's final moments. It was a rainy September night in 2011. Nathan and Stephen were driving on this county road in Eustis. That's when they came around the corner and saw a tree lying in the middle of this road.
And luckily I was going slow, hit the tree, got us out of the car, put him on the side where I thought he was the safest, went to turn the car off, and a car came from the other direction and swerved to miss me and hit him. And after that, I don't really remember a whole lot, honestly.
Nathan was 10 then. He'd be a senior now. The team swears they felt his presence.
He kind of guided us throughout, not even just tonight, but this whole season, like the miraculous wins that we barely pulled out.
Attack! Attack! 22! Hey, we're getting good looks out of our offenses, out of our sets. They'll fall, okay? Trust me, they'll fall this half.
And on this particular night,
Get in there, ball. Come out, come out, come out. Yeah! Yeah!
it was Nathan leading them to 25-0.
I feel like God and Nathan were both just looking down on us, helping us. I felt like we were playing for something bigger than ourselves, and I think when you do that, I mean, the sky's the limit at that point.
Knock them out!
The Bulldogs turned a 6-point halftime lead into an 80-57 victory.
I'm very proud of y'all, all right? I don't care what anybody says. 25 in a row is not normal, all right? Now, we got bigger fish to fry. It's one game at a time. But I want y'all to realize how much I love you guys.
Stephen Hayes may have lost a son, but he's gained countless others.
You know, I learned something when everything happened to us, and I'm one that now lets people know how I feel. Hey, sing it loud, sing it proud. Underneath the whispering pine. And, you know, very different than probably most situations that you see when these guys leave the gym at night. I tell them I love them, and I mean I love them. But before everything happened, I probably wouldn't have said it, even though I did love them. May we ever be. Sing, Christine. Here we come to learn of Jesus and his blessed will.
All right, time for the walk-off. This World Series has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, there's still one big complaint. Strikeouts and home runs. That's all baseball is nowadays. The pitchers throw harder than ever, and all the hitters have all mastered the launch angle in their swing. So to me, the fix is obvious, and I don't really understand why it hasn't already been done. Ban the shift. Now, I'm obviously not the first person to say this, but I'm going to say it loud, and I'm going to say it again. Ban the shift. I mean, look at these formations. It's ridiculous. You got the shortstop over here. You got the second baseman all the way in right field. It's insane. The league batting average this season was .245. That's the lowest since 1972. Back in '73, the AL implemented the designated hitter. I say, time for a change again. And here's all the changes they made this year. Universal DH, expanded playoffs, 3 batter minimums for pitchers, 7-inning doubleheaders. Of course, that was for the pandemic. And starting extra innings with a runner on second base. So let's fix the obvious thing here. Shortstops shouldn't be standing in the concession stand line because the hitter has a dramatic slice. Look, the shift takes away batters' natural gifts. If the field's completely covered, he might as well swing for the fence, right? Defenses, they should shift like we used to back in Little League. Back up, move in, shade right, shade left. Allow the athletes to make the plays, not the computer. I mean, you can't suddenly decide to drive on the wrong side of the road because it's more efficient during rush hour, right? Second baseman, well, they should stay out of right field too. Math has taken over the game. I say, let's change the equation. That's the walk-off. This was Spectrum Sports 360. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.